Donor Trak is an easy-to-use and affordable donor management system for schools and nonprofit organizations. Using Donor Trak, you will be able to keep track of all your supporters along with all the relevant information. In addition, you will be able to manage all of the giving and pledges of your supporters. In this video, I want to give you a little taste of how Donor Trak can help you. So the login screen right here is what we call our dashboard. On the dashboard, you'll see some very helpful information right away. First of all, this follow-ups will be reminders. So you can set almost like sticky notes in the constituent records that will show up here according to the calendar. And so I can click on this and go directly to that person's record to see that reminder. But it's just a reminder that I need to contact them thanking them for a gift. Also has the birthdays coming up as well as the anniversaries coming up. If you want to view all those, you can open up the calendars as well to see the full birthday and anniversary calendar. So this is really nice from a PR standpoint if there's a special significant birthday or anniversary of one of your donors. For instance, Corny Visser, it's his 65th birthday. I might want to contact him and wish him a happy birthday. Also on the dashboard, you will find all of your current or live campaigns and the performance of those campaigns. So for instance, this one right here, the goal is 175,000 so far. 157,340 has been pledged, which is 89.9% of the goal. And there's still some out there that was pledged that hasn't been paid. So even though this percent has been pledged, only 85% is actually in our pockets at this point. Next, let's move on to the constituents area. So let's go ahead and we can search by constituents. I can search by last name, or I could put in a first name as well. But let's go to John and Johanna Vanderberg. And so now all these links on the left side refer to them. So John is considered the primary in this case, and it has all of his relevant information: birthday, anniversary, phone number, if he's an alumnus, who his employer is, which pulls from the business database, as well as an area where you can enter any notes about John you so desire. If I click on spouse, now I'm going to be looking at Johanna's information, a lot of the same fields. Next item down is children. So this will show us their children and their current age, and if they were an alumnus and so forth. So notice this child right here probably should no longer be listed under John and Johanna, but instead, let's go ahead and convert that person to his own constituent record. And so now Jim Vanderberg has his own constituent record. So let's go back again, though. I want to look at John and Johanna. So let's do a search there. There they are. Next item down is the attributes. And so what it shows is these are our categories and then the attributes within each of those categories. So for instance, this might be telling us that John and Johanna, maybe John played soccer when he was at this school, and therefore we consider him to be a pretty good fundraiser for that area. This is completely customizable, and whichever attributes are checked below here for John and Johanna, they'll show up at the top right here. So I can easily add to those as well. So if I add basketball, click Save Changes, notice that basketball is one of his attributes as well. We have reminders and notes. So this is where that reminder was set up. You can enter the date where that reminder should show up and enter the message. And you can keep track of correspondence and different notes in this area as well. We also have an area where you can keep track of relationships. So notice here, it's saying that John and Johanna are the parents of Casey Vanderberg. So Casey is in the constituent record as well. Notice Jim Vanderberg, that's the one that we just pulled out. And so it's saying that they are the parents of Jim Vanderberg. The nice thing is when you add a relationship, it will show that relationship in the other constituents record as well. So let's say that John is the sibling to Danae, well, let's pick a name that I can actually pronounce. We'll just say in this case, Carol Anima, and so I'll click add. So notice there it is, and if I go to Carol's record and go to relationships, it says Carol is the sibling of John as well. So you only have to add that relationship in one way, and that's really nice if you have someone else new take over your database that maybe doesn't know the school as well as you do. Contact information, you can keep track of all their contact information. You can also enter a secondary address that's date driven. So if they go south for the winter or have a seasonal address. The nice thing is if you send out a mailing between these dates, it'll automatically use this address rather than this address. You can also keep track of all of your campaigns and appeals here. So if I come down here, notice it has my pledge schedules here. It shows me all my information that they pledged to pay $6,000 to date. They've paid $4,500, and so there's $1,500 that's due. And so it shows the pledge amounts and the current balance that needs to be paid and so forth. We also have a business area where you can keep track of a lot of those same type of things related to your businesses. We also have a reports area where you can generate various reports. So if I wanted to generate a report of all those that are basketball supporters, notice there's 25 of them, and I can do lots of things with this data. I could generate labels for those 25 if I wanted to. And so we'll click Create Labels, and notice there's our labels for the data we generated. I could also send them letters, and I could start with a blank letter, or I could use a previously created letter. You can create letters and save them and reuse those. And notice it'll say Dear John Vanderberg and so forth because it does a mail merge right within the software as well. You can also come in here and send emails again, but it can use a mail merge, so it'll insert their names. You can download all the data as well, or you can just download the basic data. Going back to the report tool, right now I have basketball, but you can add giving information. So if I want to look for all those that gave to this campaign and appeal, In Kind 2014, and our basketball supporters, whoops, so I still have that in there. Let's go ahead and generate the report, and now notice there's only 20 people instead of the 26, and I can do the same type of things. Going back to that report, if I want more detail, I can also, instead of just the donor listing, include there what they all gave and those totals as well. So that report builder is very powerful, and there's other reports as well, but I would say 80% of what you're going to want to be able to do, you're going to be able to cover through this robust report tool. You also have the ability to do batch entries if you want to. So for instance, if you have a whole pile of checks that you want to enter and they're all going to go towards the same campaign, you can do that very easily to say, okay, we have our 2016 auction and I want to enter these amounts, and so you can choose your people and add them in and say in this case it was $100 that they gave using this check, and I can keep going. And so let's go ahead and enter this person, and they gave $200 again with this check number if you want that information, and notice it puts in the date and I can submit that. So it's a very quick way that you can enter a whole bunch of checks, and now if I'd go to the constituent records of those two individuals, you would see those donations. So hopefully through this brief video you get a sense of the power of Donor Trak, and we'd love to show you more.